I've played a lot of games that should, in theory, be similar to Herdling. I've played plenty of narrative adventure games built around atmosphere and environmental storytelling. I've played games where I've managed multiple characters at once. But somehow, Herdling still winds up feeling pretty unique. Because while it has elements of games like Abzu, Rime, or even Lemmings, ultimately, Herdling is a shepherding sim. You play as a young boy who comes across a wandering calicorn. Calicorn are furry, goat-like creatures that come in a variety of sizes. Using a stick you find lying on the ground, you quickly learn to shepherd the lonely calicorn, and as you begin wandering alongside it, you'll come upon another calicorn, and soon that duo will become a herd. The story and motivation for what you're doing is borderline non-existent, and you find yourself guiding the calicorns forward largely because this is a video game and that's what you do. Herdling has no dialogue, so you're relying entirely on environmental storytelling and natural moments to form attachments to its world and characters. Over time, you'll get a general sense for where you're going, but never any real reason why or a deeper understanding of the world itself. Now and then the music will swell and you'll get a nice set-piece moment, but with no attachment to the herd of similar-looking calicorns, it's tough to be too invested in their progress or safety. That being said, it's a very compelling world to be in. It's an odd combination of ancient and more modern decay. It would be nice to learn more about either of those elements. Your control over the herd is straightforward. At any point you can press ZR to send the herd moving directly away from you. They'll always move as a single unit, so you don't need to worry about scattering them if you're not quite standing in the right spot. Holding ZR in open areas allows you to charge up a stampede that can be quite satisfying after navigating treacherous terrain. You can also hold A to slow down the herd or double tap it to call for a quick stop. Most of the time you'll just be moving through the world, but now and then you'll also need to carefully navigate hazards. Though the danger is generally just limited to your calicorns losing the energy they need for that stampede charge. I should also mention that the camera is a little awkward at times. It seems to sort of hesitate between being totally free and heavily scripted, and can wind up in some awkward positions now and then, especially if you move it during one of these more scripted moments. The music, sound design, and overall presentation are quite good. I played primarily on a Switch 2, where performance was smooth for the most part. The original Switch can stutter a bit more, but the sections I tested were never too bad. Distant landscapes are noticeably low poly, but the immediate environment, your character, and the calicorns all look good. The music is extremely restrained, but when it does come in, it's always a highlight. I noticed that during some big moments, the music even intelligently lowers the volume of other sounds, giving the score more room to shine. This is definitely a soundtrack I'd happily listen to independent of the game itself. Herdling has most of the pieces of a strong and unique narrative adventure, but comes up a little short where it matters. It rarely gives you moments to form any specific attachment to its characters. The world certainly has some cool set pieces accompanied by a soaring soundtrack, but at the end of the day, I struggled to care. There is still a well-crafted world and some interesting mechanics at play, but the storytelling causes it to fall a little short of the genre greats. This video was made possible by our generous supporters on Patreon. Check out patreon.com/NWR for all the details.